Café Networking Podcast promotes successful business experts. I'm Tom Reaoch, known as the King of Networking, connecting people throughout the world from my podcast studio in Brazil. Joining us today from Prince George, British Columbia in Canada, is John Brink. He's the CEO of Brink Group Companies. He's a bodybuilder, author, and also podcast host at On the Brink Podcast. So John, at 83, how does it feel being the oldest nationally ranked bodybuilder in North America?
Feels fantastic, Tom. You know, it gets me to the gym and always looking forward to next year and competing again. So it keeps me in shape, mentally, physically, all the way around. It feels great.
And we talked before we started recording here. You actually plan on being around until you're 120.
Absolutely.
And that plan is part of what you're doing. You're keeping yourself in shape, mentally, physically.
Yeah, and diet and really watch on a day-to-day basis. Keep yourself fit, obviously, mentally, physically. Be careful about your diets. I'm mainly a plant-based diet, and and then I wrote a book about that. That comes out next August. Actually, I wrote 4 books altogether. This is the last one. Living Young, Dying Old, and it means it's not just numbers; it's quality of life,
right?
And that's the key, you know.
So we have actually young people who are old.
Exactly. So some people, they barely in the mid 40s or 50s, and they say, well, I can't do this anymore. I'm old. If you want to be old, you will be old. I don't do that. I believe that every day is a full day. I still get up at 5:30 in the morning. I always think I'm late. I got a number of 10 different companies and 3 silos. Actually, one is lumber, one is warehousing, one is real estate, and it keeps me busy. And then at the same time, I'm a podcaster, I'm a public speaker, and and obviously I'm very, very active.
Well, to that activity, some people tend to think that's overdoing it and may want you to settle down and take a rest. And other people don't realize that that's part of the way you are.
Yeah, and I agree with that fully, Tom. A lot of people say to me, how come you do all these things that you're doing? How do you do it all? And I say a couple of things. I sleep fast, and the other one is very important. I have ADHD. Mm-hmm. That's what makes me do it, which I call the superpower.
And it is a superpower. We see that generally, and when people see that in younger persons, children, they think it's a problem. But really, like yourself, you've taken that as an advantage to a very extreme limit.
Exactly. And in fact, I wrote a book about it, ADHD Unlocked. Mm-hmm. And, very, very popular. It's on all the major medias. And I call it a superpower. But it took me till I was 57 when in this bookstore, I picked up a book. It was the book, I still don't know why, Driven to Distraction. Mm-hmm. It was written in 1993 by Dr. Halliwell. And it talked about ADHD, and I said, "Oh my God, that's me." It took me till I was 57, and actually, I podcasted Dr. Halliwell about a week ago about ADHD, and we believe, and he believes that we were doing our podcast saying that initially we thought that about 8% of the population ADHD. I believe I said to Dr. Halliwell that I believe it is 20% or more. He said, no, John, it's 25% or more.
See?
That's the one. And then the other one that you may find interesting is most of the successful is the operative, right, entrepreneurs, at least 50% of them, I say, are ADHD. He says, no, John, at least 75%.
Wow.
And I believe it as well.
Well, to your point, most people don't realize either they have it. Most people couldn't identify it. And that's not only the persons, that's families, that's the medical trade.
Exactly.
We were judging success and not really knowing what were those driving forces behind all of that.
Exactly.
And you've just shown that you have all the energy. It's a concentration, not only a concentration, it's the administration of energy.
Another thing that's very important to me is I'm going to lift up a sign here. You can probably see it, 2547. Your guests will likely not see that. But underneath it says, my foundation is attitude. No matter how tough the day is, I always believe the next day is better. And then the other one is passion.
Right.
Whatever I do, I give it 150%. And then the last one is work ethic. I work harder than anybody, even still today. And so that is the foundation of me and always has been.
Well, I can see you. Our audience can't, but I'm sure if they find your site, they will be able to see you. You're one of the healthiest persons I see around.
Thank you.
And active. And again, taking that together, as you mentioned, ADHD, it's been overlooked, probably unjudged. And again, most persons I've interviewed, other persons who have it, it has not tended to be something that's adult.
Yeah, no question about that. And that has been a stigma. It has been overlooked. Obviously, in the schooling system, it has not been recognized. And I believe we're starting to look at it differently. And that's a very good thing, because usually people with ADHD is a benefit. In fact, I put an advertisement for one of the senior jobs in my corporate group, and that one national. And on that, we detailed the specifics of the job. But in addition to that, ADHD would be considered an asset.
And it should be. And it is. Not it should. It is.
It is.
It is. Very good. Well, John, I want to thank you for being here. I want to congratulate you not only on what you do, but how you do it. Okay? And the sharing and putting these books out, helping other persons lead a better and more energetic life. That's to be congratulated.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Tom. And so, and obviously they can find us on johnabrink.com. We have the 3 books, Against All Odds, ADHD Unlocked, Finding Your Passion, Living the Dream, and Living Young, Dying Old.
Well, we want to stay around, and we'll hopefully see each other again in the future.
I hope so.
So take care.
Take care, Tom. My pleasure.
And to our audience, again, it's John A. Brink, John, the letter A. The last name is Brink. You'll find him as an author on Amazon. Find all of his books there. And his site, johnabrink.com. It's all together, johnabrink.com. He's also very active on TikTok. Café and Networking is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil. More information at focusmi.com. Talk to Tom, talk to the world. Thanks for listening. Until the next time here at Café and Networking Podcast.